of, I guess we're going to call it off the break for now because that's the only thing that we can think of. If the name changes, we'll let you know. I'm Ordyh. This is HyperZJA,
Whatever
HypersJ, whatever. Say hi to the people.
you want to call it. What's up, everybody?
Hypers, buddy, whatever. I call him Hyper anyway.
Yeah.
I disregard the Z anyway.
Yeah,
So,
everybody does.
yeah, so today we're going to talk about the CDL London event, which is going on this weekend. It's actually starting in a few hours, actually, because, London time, baby. We are East Coast. I have to get up at 6 in the morning. I'm not going to actually get up and watch all of it, but whatever. It's going to be a fun event.
Yeah, no.
We're just going to pretty much go over the groups and who we think is going to win, and that's pretty much be it. That's going to be a quicker episode than compared to last, like a month ago, almost. So, Hypers, you ready to get into this?
Now let's get into it. I'm
All right,
excited
first,
to see what London brings.
yeah, for sure. All right, so the first things first, for people who are new to the scene, even some people who aren't new to the scene, I want to explain the format because they did change it because it was very controversial that a lot of these pros were kind of upset that they had to potentially fly to these events for one match because that's how it actually originally was league matches, and the league matches were pretty much just like a normal thing like basketball, baseball, football. Pretty much these teams are traveling around to these other arenas around the world, playing one or two matches and going back home. It was kind of lame in my opinion. I'm okay with the format. I'm going to go into the format and then I'm going to chime in a little bit and have Hyper give you guys his opinion about things. So pretty much how the new format is, it's a there's it's a split thing. It's two groups of four, Group A, Group B. It's a double elimination bracket. They're going to play until there's two teams left of each group, and then those two teams who are left in each group, so there'll be four teams left over, are going to play in a single elimination championship bracket until there is crowned a winner. Obviously, all these matches are going to be best of fives, and that's pretty much how the format is. I personally like it myself. Like I said, it's better than flying to London to play one league match potentially and going right back home. That's a little bit dumb. Hype, what do you think about this format?
Yeah, like you said, like before the season started, like I want to say a month before the league even started, they talked about we doing the format because when London would come around, it would just be like Dallas going for like one game and then
Yep.
that was it. So like you're having five superstars that would just go across to another country and that was basically it. So you're kind of there just for like a day of, and you're only wasting like what a series maybe lasts an hour, and
Yeah,
then you're
exactly.
done.
Not,
So you
yeah,
traveled all
yeah.
that way. Yeah,
Not to
so
men-
you
not to
only
men-
wasted
not,
like an
not
hour.
to mention if like a team just 3-0 someone real quick, so you're playing for like 40 minutes. You're flying 12 hours across the ocean to London to sweep a team and then just go back home. Like that, yeah.
Yeah, like it, like if you get swept, then it's like you're wasting like a whole day, another maybe 2 days, and
Hmm.
that's precious, like scrim time or VOD reviews and stuff like that. So pretty
Yep.
sure teams would be upset about the old format.
All right, so that's pretty much it. Like I said, for that, we're gonna get into the groups a little bit and the scheduling of the matches. Group A is pretty much you have Dallas, Seattle, Chicago, and LA Gorillas. Group B is Paris, New York, London, and Toronto. The first match of the entire weekend is going to be Paris versus New York. Hype. Who do you think is going to win that match?
I think we've seen clearly from Minnesota that Paris was a lot like it was very unknown whether Paris was going to be good or not because we didn't see them scrim a lot. But since
These are the
Minnesota passed,
these are
yeah,
the power rankings.
yeah,
Throw them out the window,
not
ladies and
the one that,
gentlemen.
yeah,
Kobe,
yeah, no,
Kobe.
right. So we saw Paris 3-0, I think 3-0 straight. Like I don't think that did they lose a single map
I
by
do
Minnesota.
believe that they did not. They
Yeah, they
swept London, and I'm pretty sure they swept Optic.
yeah.
No, wait,
So
no. It was 3-1 Optic. It was 3-1 Optic.
that's the
'Cause,
one. No, they
yeah,
lost the map, but still, they like they
exactly. Definitely,
solidified themselves in a good power ranking, even though we didn't see them. So I see
definitely threw
Paris
everyone
taking
off,
that.
including myself. I did not have them anywhere in the higher of the power rankings either.
Oh yeah, I
Me
see Paris
per,
taking it 3-1.
I'm gonna have to agree with you. I feel like New York needs to win this match because they went the complete opposite of what we just said about Paris. They went 0-2 at Minnesota. They got slapped by Paris, or they got slapped by London 3-0, and then they got slapped by FaZe, which I thought. I mean, we both agreed in our last episode that FaZe was going to win that match 3-1, and they did win 3-1 or 3-0 or whatever. So I think New York needs to win this game, but I don't think they're going to just because of the way that Paris looked. Like how much better. Like if I saw this stuff before Minnesota, I'd be like, oh yeah, New York's gonna win this easily. But I'm completely wrong here. I'm gonna go with Paris as well. All right, so the
Yeah, I mean,
second match of the day is actually going to be a Group A. They're going to go back and forth. They're going to do Group A, Group B, Group A, Group B.
right.
Uh, the next match, I believe, would have been, yes, it's Dallas versus Seattle. I personally think that Dallas is going to come out strong because of their also poor performance at Minnesota. But to be fair, they did have to play the best two teams besides themselves that were in the top three of everyone's power rankings, including our own. But I do believe that Dallas is going to come out strong. They're going to come out hot because they need to. And I think that Dallas is going to beat Seattle probably 3-1.
Yeah, I know. Because we saw Dallas go 0-2, and they did play like the top two teams. And I see a lot of people like, especially on Twitter, they're pretty much like putting them down in the rankings below like like five, and it's just like
Well, who,
you
Seattle or
look at the power
Dallas?
rankings. No, Dallas.
Yeah, yeah. I still think they're top three.
Yeah,
I
I
actually
do as
just
well.
I personally just moved them down from 2 to 3 because again you
Yeah,
lost to the other two, so you still I feel like still
yeah. And
they deserve to
I
be
think
top
a
three
lot of
though.
people forget that they played the best two teams in the league.
Yep,
So I mean, so I do expect Dallas to at least get a win and carry that momentum forward into into the tournament.
same. All right, so the next match after that was going to be Chicago versus LA Gorillas. I think that Chicago is just going to use the momentum they had from the again they went 2-0 at Minnesota. They slapped Dallas, and then they slapped Optic. They're going to come over here and slap Gorillas as well.
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna slap Gorillas. Like they're definitely gonna win. Don't get me wrong. They're gonna win this game hands
I think
down.
it's gonna be like a
They've
three
got the
one. I
firepower.
I think it's gonna be a
Yeah, I
three
do think
one
it's 3-1. And we saw like I pointed out before, Minnesota, that Envoy was definitely like one of the key players. Like, and he definitely showed up in Minnesota, so he's gonna be more hungry coming out to London.
for sure. And the last match of the first part of the group, at least, it's going to be London versus Toronto. This match might go either way because London did look good at Minnesota, but at the same time they really didn't because again they got slapped by Paris. So this one going either way. But I am going to roll with the home team. I'm going to go with London. I feel like that crowd's going to bring them the energy that they need to get over Toronto, who by the way at Minnesota they looked pretty decent. Like they didn't look amazingly great. I do believe they did. Did they win? I think they won one of their matches, but still, I think London is going to have that home crowd on their, behind them, and they're just going to win.
All right. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna give it to. I'm honestly gonna go against the crowd. I'm gonna go with Toronto.
Ooh,
I don't know if
spicy.
they're gonna actually change their roster. I would doubt they would change the roster because Toronto has like the most signed players out of any team. But I doubt they
Yeah.
change the roster. But I'm looking for them to bounce back from Minnesota getting another win here.
All right. So that's pretty much the first match of the day. I'm just going to go and skip ahead a little bit. Who do you think is going to be the two teams coming out of each group?
I'm honestly gonna for Group A. I'm gonna say Dallas and Chicago. Obviously they're in my eyes, two top three teams in the league. And for Group B, I'm definitely gonna say Paris and Toronto.
Ooh.
They're looking they're looking good. That Group B is the unknown. The Group A is pretty much solidified as Dallas and Chicago. Group B, I think, is anybody's taking. Any of these teams can show up in Group B.
I definitely agree with you on that. I'm gonna have to go with again with Dallas and Chicago too. I think that they're gonna come out into the chat and bracket for Sunday. For Group B, this is a really tough decision here. I like I said, I see Paris being New York, but for some reason, I feel like New York might make a losers bracket run and somehow make it in. I don't know why that's gonna happen, but I feel like it's gonna happen. I'm gonna go with London and New York. I feel like as good as Paris looked, I feel like there something's gonna happen in this little group bracket, double elimination bracket. 'Cause remember, the group play is double elimination bracket. They're gonna end up losing somewhere in this bracket and not make it into the championship Sunday.
Yeah, no, this. I mean, it's a good event. I'm just sad, kind of like we talked about. I'm kind of sad that not all 12 teams play, but
Yeah, I agree with
it
that. I'm again,
it
I'm not a fan of all 12 teams not being at each of these events, but at the same time, I kind of get it because it's kind of hard to do a bracket
yeah
like this with 12
yeah
teams unless like each team gets like a bye or something.
Yeah, it's kind of like imagine in football, like they have buys, so these teams definitely had to scrim more and go over VOD more like quickly,
Yeah,
because this is like more after Minnesota.
right.
Whereas like let's say like a team like the Atlanta Phase, they have more time to go over VODs
Yeah,
and more time to go over strats.
exactly.
So we'll see. I don't think much is really gonna
Or they could have
have a
just,
bigger impact.
or they could have done was the teams who got the most points at Minnesota gets the buys for this. But whatever, we're not going to get into that. Like I said, this is the format. We can't really change it unless they do change it. Who knows? All right. So the last question before we wrap this up, because this is gonna be a quicker episode than before. Who do you think is going to come out and become the CDL London champions?
Uh, Man, that's that's a tough question. That's a question. It's definitely if we were to look at it, it's definitely between the two in Group A for myself, and I'm gonna say Chicago's gonna come out hot and fired. So I'm saying Chicago's gonna end up winning this event.
You know, I'm going to sit here and say this. I'm a huge Crim Six fan. I am. I bought the CDL camos, which are in Modern Warfare for $9.99. Anyone who wants to buy those, all 12 teams. The packs are great, but I'm agree with you. I think Chicago's going to win.
Yeah.
Scumpy and Chicago and the green wall, the new green wall, the NRG green wall, whatever they want to call it. They're always seem to come out on fire in the first tournament of the year. Always, always. Like going all the way back. Like last year, they won the first event. Black Ops 2, they won the second event in UMG Chicago. So on and so forth. They always seem to do it, and I feel like they're going to do it again. I really do. I think that Chicago's going to come out with the fire that they've had rolling over from Minnesota and the passion and whatnot. And again, just from top to bottom, that team is probably of all these 8 teams that are at this event, they are the most stacked team from top to bottom, obviously on paper, and obviously by playing because again we've seen them already play and they went 2-0 in their series at Minnesota. So that's my pick as well. I think Chicago's gonna come out. I think that this whole weekend's gonna be pretty fun. A lot of good matches. I don't know who would come out in the grand final because I do believe it's they're gonna split them up obviously because like it'll be like Chicago and on the top of the bracket, Dallas will be on the bottom. So they might meet each other in the grand finals. That would be my assumption, and I feel like Chicago's just gonna end up winning it.
Yeah, no, but well, I'm excited to see what kind of adjustments these teams have made since Minnesota.
That is true.
So maybe they might throw a surprise and they work really hard. Like let's say Seattle, for example, they really needed to work on search and destroy because their search and destroy for Minnesota was just pretty much lacking. So I'm excited to see what kind of adjustments they made and see if it has a big impact on some of these series.
I agree. Like I said, in going back to the adjustments, I mean Dallas, like I said, they did not look good at all at Minnesota. Unfortunately, it was like Shotzi's in Illy's first time being at like a major Call of Duty lane. Obviously, Shotzi's a former Halo World Champion, so he's obviously been on the main stage before, but in a different type of game and a different atmosphere. I think they're going to clean up their act a little bit. Like I said, I do think they're going to be in the grand finals, assuming that it can even get to that point. But again, I'm pretty sure because like I said, they're going to split them in each group. Like, it's going to be like the top seed of A is going to play the lower seed of B, and the top seed of B is going to play the lower seed of A. So they're going to like split them, and that's how the bracket's going to be for the champ bracket on Sunday. But I do think that Chicago's is going to end up winning. If they play Dallas, Dallas will probably just end up getting second, because from top to bottom, Chicago does have the better roster.
Oh yeah. All right.
But I mean,
Anything?
I don't have anything else to say. I don't think. Do you have
Yeah.
anything else to chime in on about it?
Uh,
I mean, all right
no,
then.
it's just it's kind of a bummer. It's at 6 a.m. I'm not a
Yeah, no,
morning
that's the
person.
biggest bummer. I'm probably gonna. I mean, I'm gonna try to get up a little bit early, maybe see the second match because I mean, they have it scheduled like Dallas versus Seattle is gonna be like 7:30, 8 o'clock Eastern time, my time. So maybe I'll try to get up for that. Fingers crossed. Maybe hopefully I'm actually hoping that there's a technical difficulty delay and maybe I just wake up and then
Yeah.
it's just starts. Who knows? But that's pretty much it for this episode of Off the Break. We'll probably be back after the weekend's over and go over who won and see if we are right on these predictions. I'm Ordyh. This is Hyper, and we'll see you guys next time. Peace.
Signing out. See you guys.